And welcome to Real Men Talk. It is a spring edition, the first show for spring. I am in New York. Stan is in St. Louis. What's up, Stan?
How's everything?
Man, good. Spring has sprung, and people are ready, Stan. So right off the bat, let me ask you this. So, a lot of people have plans to go on vacation, and they look at their swimsuits and their bikinis, and they say, I got 2 weeks to get ready for this. Stan, don't laugh. If in 2 weeks, Stan, what could somebody do?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, no.
You said 2 weeks. I'm like, that is laughable, man. In 2 weeks.
That's what people want to do.
They can shed a couple of ounces of body water.
Mm.
There's all kind of things that people try to do. I used to get this question a lot. The question was, my class reunion's coming in 2 months, and I want to lose 20 pounds. and it's not just, you would think that's what the ladies be asking, but guys ask that question too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I tell them, well, the best thing I would tell you to do is, it's simple. Everybody here is just cut your carbs and start doing more cardio. So therefore, if you cut your carbs and start doing more cardio, you have to up your water intake and your vegetable intake, because when you cut your carbs, you're cutting out a lot of different minerals, and you got to up your vegetable intake to kind of account for that. So those little fads, man, I am not a believer in. I'm totally against them because they do more harm to your organs opposed to the look. And that look that you're trying to get for a reunion or for the spring is only a momentary look because it's not your way of life.
Mm.
So definitely it's going to come back. Your way of life is always going to be there staring you in the face because those are your habits. These are the things you're accustomed to. You're not accustomed to dropping 10 pounds in 2 weeks. You're not accustomed to that. Even if you succeed, you're not going to stay with it, so it's going to come right back, and it will bring more added unwanted weight, which will make you more miserable and unhappy. Now, if the gratification of losing 10 pounds to get in a dress for a class reunion or to get in a bikini to go to spring break in, if that gratification is, if it's good for you, hey, more power to you. Do it, but it's dangerous though. To try to drop some weight within a couple of weeks just for a moment. So, I'm not a fan of that.
And Stan, you're seeing in this. This is a good one. So Stan, you and I are from another generation. This is the selfie generation. People take pictures of themselves every damn day. So, that being the case, Stan, are you seeing more and more people training or not necessarily?
You mean, when you say trainer, are you talking about when they're in the gym, are they taking selfies or are they working out?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is it's like how you look seems to be more important than it ever has been. Are you seeing this transferring into people being more interested in fitness at the gym or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. People are just into themselves. And they don't care how they look. You look at Facebook, there are people on Facebook that look a mess, but they don't care. The thing about it, they're just so into themselves, which is good. I like people that's into themselves, but not so much to the point where you don't care how you look, or to the point where you're just overdoing it. But when you said we live in the selfie age, let's put the rubber on the pavement. The selfie age. You're right. People are more into themselves. They're always into their phone. They're always taking pictures of themselves. Don't you know how you look? Okay, number one. Number two, this generation, this age of people, we're living in a very selfish age. People are all about themselves and don't care about humanity as much no more. I mean, people are always about me, my, I. Where has the love gone? Why? Because we live in a selfish age where everybody's taking selfies of themselves. They always got the pictures of themselves everywhere. I walked in a guy's house here, maybe about 3 weeks ago. Man, this guy, he's a single guy. I'm a single guy. He lives alone. I live alone. But I walked into this guy's house, man. This guy had pictures of himself all over the place. I counted at least 12 photos of him in frames all over the place. And this was just, this was from his front door to his dining room. Yeah, I didn't go no further in the dining room. I sat and did a consultation with him. This guy had to have at least 10 to 12 pictures of him, photos of himself, all over the place.
That's weird. You know? That's weird, Stan.
That's very, very strange, man. I'm like, and it made me think, I was like, how many pictures do I have of myself in my place? And I got over 2,000 square feet here. And I thought about it. I got one photo of myself in my place. You know? And pictures of everybody else. When people say, hey, send me a picture of me. Man, I don't have pictures in my phone of me. I really don't. I got pictures of everybody else. You know, maybe I probably got about 100, maybe 25, 30 pictures. I found 3 pictures of myself in my phone. 3. You know when you're trying to do something and people don't know who you are, they say, send me a photo of you. I'm like, oh, that's touching. So I take my camera, I try to take a new photo. I am totally green when it comes to taking selfies. Everybody says you got to get the angle down. I am horrible. I can't take a selfie for nothing.
Yeah, you do
because
need
they never come out right.
You need some professional pictures, Stan.
Exactly, man. You know, and I don't like. And I found something out last night. I went back on the air to do a Dallas radio show with him, and it was the first time I did it since last year. And now he's live on Facebook. Everything's live on Facebook. I don't like cameras in my face. You know, I love the audience because I can see. I can't see. I don't get no feedback from a camera being live, you know? So I'm not used to cameras being in my face. So when you say the selfie age, hey, I'm lost with that one there, man. You know, I really am. But I can understand why people are wanting to get in shape and it's spring and everything. Man, it's been spring in St. Louis since October last year. We don't know what winter looks like here. We've had 2 cold days in the last 5 months. Really, 2 cold days in the last 5 months. Allergy season has been popping. Everybody's sneezing. People are sneezing. I mean, the pharmaceutical companies are making a killing, man, because allergy medicine is jumping off the shelves. So, you know, I understand why people are, they got spring fever, but we have spring fever, heck, since last spring here. You know?
So, Stan, speaking of, sadly, with the spring and the summer, we mentioned the selfie age. It's also the fake fill-in-the-blank age. And, Stan, last week, yet another young lady died getting a fake booty injection where an unlicensed person took body fat from her body and injected it into her butt. And this young lady died, Stan. What the hell is going on where people not only are doing the process, but are going to people who aren't even doctors, man?
People are desperate, man. People are desperate. And when I say people are desperate, it's the age of the butt, man. It's all about the butt, man, you know? And I tell people, I'm a health coach, fitness trainer. I tell people, look here, save your money and just work. I've had one client that I know of that in the last 12 years had implants, and she couldn't work out. She couldn't work out for 3 months. But when she came back, she had a butt, you know. And this is sister, she had a butt, and she has to work hard to maintain it too. But that's what it is, man. Everybody's into themselves. They go through drastic measures so that they can look good and love themselves. You ain't got to do all of this to love yourself. All you got to do is just find yourself. You know, all you got to do is just find yourself. We're just right here waiting to be discovered by ourselves. You know, Your
Now,
soul and your spirit just wants you to slow down and discover how beautiful you are. And we just want other things and other people to validate us. You know?
so Stan, when somebody gets, and let's look at the butt thing. We talk about squats a lot, but when we talk about a butt implant, if they put a layer of fat on your butt, right? When that person, like you said, when she came back, if you now have a layer of fat on your butt that you didn't have before, what's the impact of squats and leg exercises when you have that layer of fat on your butt? You know what I mean? What happens?
It's odd you should ask that question because she was just here training with me this morning. She's my 10 o'clock client. And I had her doing wide squats, knees open so we can hit her inner thighs, her intercostal muscles, and her abductors. And I was looking at her butt, and it looks the same as it did 10 years ago. It really does. And you saying the impact of it is, I don't know how they do that. I'm totally ignorant when it comes to how they do the butt implants or whatever, but it seems to stay in place. It really does. Now, you see some bad jobs, you know what I mean, just horrible jobs. That was just the surgeon, but they seem to stay in place. And I'm wondering, how do they do that? You know what I mean? I've never had the pleasure of touching my client's butt. I remember when she first got it, I almost wanted to examine it. Let me see that thing. You know what I mean? I did. I was really curious, but I've never touched it or whatever. I just looked closely at it, and it's still the same way as it did 10 years ago. And she's got to be, I think she's about 43 years old now.
So Stan, so the muscularity on the surface doesn't change because there's a layer of fat, right?
I don't know. No, seriously. I'm dumbfounded, man. You got me with this one. I have no idea on how they do that. I don't, man. You know,
well, Stan,
my knowledge is limited when it comes to that. I'm just puzzled. There's this one girl that goes to the gym. I come in, and this girl has awesome butt. I mean, awesome. And I don't want to take away from her and say, oh, that's an implant. I don't want to take away by saying she didn't put the work in, because she probably did. But her butt is awesome. And, you know, it looked like it could be a really, really good implant. And then again, it looked like that girl been squatting since she came out the womb. Because it is awesome, and she intimidates guys. Won't nobody say nothing to her. I haven't even said anything to her. She wears her haircut. Oh, listen, she wears her haircut real short, like a guy, but then like a crew cut. And she's not muscular, but she's fit. When you look at her, I mean, she looks like she could be a Mary Jane hero, cartoon hero. She's just fit, man. And then her butt sits out there, and you be like, wow, she can crack a wall with those glutes.
So Stan,
but it looks really good because it ties into her hamstrings and her quads. It looks really good.
That's important. That's important. You see, some people have real thin legs, and then all of a sudden a big butt, and it's not hard. It's not muscular. You know.
Hey, look here. If you build your butt through hard work and squats and lunges and glute thrusts, you're going to build your legs also. You're not going to have those skinny legs and a big old butt. No. You take that back. That's not true. That's not going to happen.
Stan, are you a big kettlebell? It looks like kettlebells are real popular these days.
I hate them.
Why?
I hate kettlebells because they lock your wrist in a certain position. You know what I mean? Really, they lock your wrist in certain positions, and what it causes, it puts a lot of undue stress on your forearms. It really does. I've never liked kettlebells. I don't like the shape of them. I don't like them. The only thing I say is good, kettlebells are good for, is doing a open squat. Grab a big kettlebell, open your legs up real wide, point your toes out, point your knees out, and just squat. That is really good for an open, wide squat because it hits the glutes, hams, abductors, and intercostals. That's the only thing I've seen a kettlebell good for. And then other than that, I can't stand a kettlebell.
What about, I noticed that ropes are real popular these days.
Because they go anywhere, anytime workout. Yeah, you can take them with you. And this time of year, remember I used to have you jump a rope, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you impressed me. You really did. I was like, big boy can jump. And then we started running. I was like, go, dude. Of course, that was what, 15 years ago?
Oh man, sheesh. What about?
Yeah, no, you impressed me, man. Especially when we used to hit the track. Oh man, you be rolling around that track. I'll be like, oh. Then I correct your posture and told you to stand more upright and lift your knees up high. Man, you were rolling like a freight train. I was like, man, go ahead, man. Yeah,
what about
ropes will go?
What about the big ropes? So, Stan, now they do the ones when they,
Oh yeah, I got one. I got one in my house. Yeah, those are really good too, man. For stamina, they build your upper body. They really build upper body strength, and they're excellent for women. Why? Because every woman is designed with her strength from the waist down, okay? Not the waist up. When you see a woman that's strong upper body, she had to work hard to develop that, brother. She really did. That's why when I see a lady in the gym doing pull-ups and chin-ups, I applaud her. When I see women doing that rope and their form is good and they commanding that rope, I applaud them because that's work. And it really worked your upper body, shoulders, trapeze muscles, your biceps, your triceps, everything that stabilizes. It's a good exercise, man.
Stan, what is going on? Everybody, I keep running into people with vitamin D deficiency. What is going on with vitamin D?
That's the standard American diet. Standard American diet, which spells sad. Okay? What's happening here is we're an artificial ingredient country, period. We are a pesticide country, period. A lot of stuff we allow into our food crop and our food supply, a lot of countries over in Europe they ban them. They don't even allow them. And these things in turn attack your vitamin D levels. It used to be African Americans can never be vitamin D deficient. Not anymore. They say, well, the more melanin you got, the more vitamin D. Not here in the United States. And vitamin D deficiency is the cause of a lot of cancers. Because when you're vitamin D deficient, that opens the door. You're vitamin D deficient, a lot of times, 9 out of 10, you're magnesium deficient. And when you're deficient of those two things, guess what? Vitamin C can't do its job. And we know vitamin C is the principle of all vitamins. Just like magnesium is the principle of all minerals, period. And then you have vitamin D, and they need one another to work in conjunction for the health of the body. Yeah, America is vitamin D deficient, especially African American or even people of color. People of color are quick to become vitamin D deficient.
And why again? Because of our diet choices?
Because we eat the worst. Yeah. The chemicals deplete your body of vitamin D. And this is crucial right here. The more fat you have on your body, that zaps your vitamin D stores. It zaps them. I told my sister this when I learned that. I said, we're going to get you a panel workup. And we went and got her a panel workup. It cost like $600. And, man, her vitamin D levels were so low, man. They hurried up and put on vitamin D before she left the place. You know what I mean? 50,000 international units, and then they weaned her off of it over the course of 4 to 6 months. Yeah. But the more fat you carry around, the more deficient you're going to be in vitamin D. And that opens the door for all other things, especially pancreatic cancers, gallbladder. The gallbladder goes bad. You know what I mean? And when the gallbladder go bad, a lot of things go bad because the liver doesn't have anywhere to store up its bile, and the pancreas don't have anywhere to store up its digestive enzymes. Why? Because they just snatched out your gallbladder. You know? How
do we fight vitamin D deficiency, Stan?
You know, they're telling us get out in the sun, get out in the sun. Yes, you got to get out in the sun. But also, you got to avoid what you're putting in your body. See, it's called know the cause. Why am I vitamin D deficient? When you find that out, then you stop doing what you're doing to make your vitamin D levels low. It's a lot of chemicals in the food, processed foods, and a lot of pesticides that they spray on stuff like blueberries, strawberries, spinach, just to name a few things that are highly sprayed with pesticides, you know. I tell people, and a lady asked me this morning. She says about GMOs, and I told her, I said it doesn't about beets. She says, well, I'm recovering from lymphoma, which is a blood disease, and Hodgkin's lymphoma, something like that, and a blood disease. And she said, this one lady told me I shouldn't be doing beets. I said, the only reason she told, because beets are blood enrichers. They enrich your blood really well. I said, the only reason she told you not to do beets because you're recovering from a blood disease, and she don't want you to do beets because the beets are GMOs. All beets in this country is genetically modified. They're GMOs. She said, even if they're organic, I said, sweetheart, let me say something to you. I said, look at it. Organic means one thing. We didn't spray it with pesticides. That's all organic means. It has not been sprayed with pesticides. Remember that, all our listeners, remember. That's all organic means. It hasn't been sprayed with pesticides. But I told her it doesn't make a difference if they spray it with pesticides or not, because if they start with a seed that's a GMO, of course, it don't need to be sprayed with pesticides, because if it's a GMO, the birds ain't going to eat it anyway. Hello.
Wow.
The birds are not going to eat it anyway. Why? And I'm saying, if the birds won't eat it, what makes you think you need to eat it? Just like corn. They don't need to start. They don't need to spray corn no more because the seeds are GMO. If you start with a GMO, I don't care if you spray it or don't spray it. It's still no good for you.
So if I want corn or beets, Stan, where do I go?
Brother, to another country. Listen to me. To another country. Our top 3 gross national products are corn, soybean, and cotton. I saw on the news a couple of days ago, probably was yesterday, that when you buy some cotton, you need to wash it at least 2 or 3 times before you put it on your skin. Because all cotton in this country, 82% cotton in this country is a genetically modified organism. It's a GMO. Look here, if you could buy 20 T-shirts for $2 a piece and all of them 100% cotton, where's all that cotton coming from? We're not growing it that fast in the South. It just don't grow that fast, brother, for everybody to wear cotton like we wear it. We got to be getting it from some other source. It's genetically modified. It grows in 3 weeks. Boom, boom, boom. So if you put just genetically modified cotton on your skin, and your skin is your biggest organ, you feel me? Wow. And it absorbs. Oh, man, come on. We're killing ourselves in this country. People just don't know. That's why Resurrecting Nutrition is a watchdog group. We're becoming a watchdog group. We will sound the alarm when we get alarming information to you. That's what makes us so vital, and we're growing, you know what I mean? And I wish I had a partner like you close to me so we could work together on this thing a little bit more closer, but you'd be surprised what's going on with what we're doing, and we think it's healthy.
Mm.
You know, cotton is a GMO. It's 82% GMO, percent of a GMO.
Wow.
Soybean, all of that's GMO. Corn, all of that's GMO. That's why you got corn in everything. Corn is so cheap. Everywhere you go, corn tortillas, this, that. Corn's everywhere. It's in abundance. It's like it's raining corn. Why? Because we can grow it so fast. You feel me? But it kills your immune system. It kills your gut. It eats up a lot of the bad bacteria, the good bacteria, and the bad guys can thrive. Why? Because the good guys aren't there to fight them off.
Man, so Stan, we this is amazing, man. Great stuff.
Oh, we out of time already.
It's getting close, man. We're getting close. I just wanted to
okay, you talk. I'll be quiet.
No, I wanted to give you some props because I was looking at, I guess last year, a couple years ago, I had a high blood pressure situation. And I thought about you, Stan, because you said, I found the sheet that had my information on it. So you said you were more concerned about triglycerides than you were about cholesterol. And sure enough, Stan, I looked on my sheet and my triglycerides were in a healthy range and my cholesterol was slightly elevated. But as you know, they wanted to put me on a statin drug. And I thought about you. Of course, I didn't get on the statin drug, but I said, damn, that's exactly what Stan was talking about. Triglycerides with a healthy level, cholesterol was slightly elevated, but they wanted to get me on a statin forever. And I was like, wow, deep.
Yeah, bro. That's why, we need watchdog groups out here to sound the alarm. Where we need people who are doing in-depth studying and ain't afraid to tell the truth. Not being paid under the table by some bitch and glamour to keep our mouths shut. Look at me, I have a mother that's 76 years old. I keep her working out. I got sisters, I got kids, I got grandkids. I like people. And I got a God who's watching my every move. And I'm about to turn 58. I have a mission I must accomplish before I get out of this life. So when I stand before my Creator, I want him to say, well done, good and faithful servant. People used to ask me, well, you called to preach the word of God. Well, I'm called to preach the truth. Regardless if it's the word of God, right or wrong, I'm called to tell the truth. And the truth is help people live healthier lives so that they're not burdened with the sickness, so that they can be of help to somebody else. Because when you're sick, you ain't trying to help nobody else. You're too busy worrying about yourself.
Amen.
When you're sick, you can't pray for nobody else because you're too busy feeling ill and having a woe is me party. It's all about pointing people in the right direction so that they can accomplish their mission in life.
And
that does involve God. You know what I mean? But I don't get hyper religious with it. I just point people to the truth.
With that said, Stan, we're going to wrap it up next week. Black maca, black seed oil, and more summer tips.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
Oh, after one more in there, Stan. Apple cider vinegar. That's next week. All right, brother.
Oh, I got like 4 bottles of black seed oil waiting on clients to pick them up, and they kind of slow with it. They just don't know what they're missing. Hey, brother, we'll talk next week, but I enjoyed you.
All right, Stan. Thank you so much. Stan in St. Louis. I'm in New York. We are Men Who Talk. And we'll talk to you soon.
Later.
Real Men Talk.